Vice Chancellor Habib, members of the faculty, parents, students, and friends. We are physically distant on this august occasion, but we are still very much united in the common cause of teachers and students everywhere to persist despite the obstacles, to draw inspiration and education from the world around us, and to use what we have learned to make the world better and brighter. I was supposed to be with you in my beloved Joburg earlier this year, but of course the pandemic had other plans. I fell in love with Africa when I was a schoolboy, 10 years old, in the great year of African independence, 1960. And I've been deeply fortunate to live and study and travel on the continent many, many times since then. This is a love affair that has persisted until this day and will be with me for my whole life. So it's one of the greatest honors of my life to receive this tremendous recognition from a place that I have loved and from an institution that I have admired so very much for such a long time. And to have this degree conferred by my dear friend, your esteemed Vice Chancellor, Adam Habib, makes me savor the honor even more. In just a matter of months, we have seen the world turned upside down, and I suspect that your lives have been turned upside down along with it. But let us first salute the one thing that hasn't been turned upside down. Above all else, the determination of your proud families and your loved ones to help you see your education through to the end. To your families, I commend and celebrate you for building a foundation for the success of your children. And we all owe you an enormous debt of gratitude for doing that. Students, you're graduating into a world that needs you desperately. Our countries, and indeed all the world's nations, must unite in common purpose in the battle not just against one but two pandemics, the coronavirus and structural racism and inequality. These two pandemics have sickened and brutalized both of our countries for far too long. It's time for us to link arms regardless of our ideological differences, regardless of our national differences, or any of our other differences, and fight against anti-black racism, xenophobia, homophobia, and white supremacist ideology in all of its pernicious forms, whether they be structurally insidious or openly violent. It is time to uphold the principles of intellectual and scientific inquiry and allow them to guide our public health and to protect and sustain our environment. It is time for you to show us what you know and to help us make a way out of no way, as we proud African Americans love to say. You are our hope, and your actions will help to define the future of your nation, your world, and our planet. As you take on this challenge at one of the most challenging times in living memory, you will carry with you what you have learned in your time at Wits. Your education is both timeless and timely. It has given you the tools you need to make your way in any situation. It has made you creative problem solvers. It has given you both the confidence and the resilience you need to forge your own paths and help break paths for others. Education, the great Nelson Mandela said, is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. And may you heed the words of my countryman, another citizen of the world, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who said in 1961, just a year after the horrendous Sharpsville massacre, all life is interrelated. We are tied in a single garment of destiny, caught in an inescapable network of mutuality. And whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. I can never be what I ought to be until you are what you ought to be, and you can never be what you ought to be until I am what I ought to be. This is the way the world is made, Dr. King said. I didn't make it that way. You didn't make it that way. We all found it that way. And may you lead with the words of your great president, the revered Madiba. We, the people of South Africa, have made a decisive and irreversible break with the past. We have, in real life, declared our shared allegiance to justice, non-racialism, and democracy, our yearning for a peaceful and harmonious nation of equals. The rainbow has come to be the symbol of our nation. We are turning the variety of our languages and cultures, once used to divide us, into a source of strength and richness. Students, take that strength and richness out of your time at Wits. Shape the future and mend our broken world. Vice Chancellor Habib, thank you again for the honor you have bestowed upon me. I shall treasure it always. May God bless you and your students as you go forward. Congratulations to the fabulous class of 2020.